I think it would be a good idea to talk about it a little bit more. What are the banks doing? Are they tightening or loosening credits? Matt, and without thinking about it, you guys were doing amazing work in your low operating cost projects. And yourself, you've got massive experience in refinery sector too. And I think I would be happy to know a little bit more. What is your take on this?
I'll maybe first speak a little bit about the iron ore price, and then I'll come back to the question on financing. My personal view is I do see the iron ore price pulling back near term, because although China is starting to return back, this as Andrew pointed out, the rest of the world is still very much on lockdown, so the goods produced by China will struggle, I think, near term to find a market. That said, once the world starts to move more to recovery method, as also mentioned about the Chinese stimulus package, President Trump from the U.S. mentioned, I think it was yesterday, that he's planning a $2 trillion stimulus package that will focus primarily on infrastructure spending for the U.S. to try to put people back to work and help their economy. You're also seeing here in Canada the Keystone XL pipeline being approved to go ahead, being financed by the Alberta government. So generally speaking, as the world starts to normalize, I think there will be quite a bit of money spent on infrastructure to help the economies, which will, of course, increase the demand for iron ore. And if you then couple that with, in particular, situation in Brazil, where the pandemic gets a bit out of control, you could potentially even see a spike in prices should that occur. Coming back to the financing side, I think everyone right now is extremely concerned. Markets are highly volatile. So it's a difficult time to move any sort of major financings ahead. But that said, again, once the world starts to normalize, people will be looking for opportunities to invest. And this is one of the sectors I think they should be looking for, again, driven by the stimulus spending. So if the prices move as expected, I think there will be quite a bit of appetite from lenders in various countries to put money back into iron ore.
Yeah, I think that his infrastructure projects, I mean, he'll find a way of getting them put in place. They have to, right? And getting back to the conversations and we've all been talking about too, about employment, I think that's going to be fundamental to getting people back to work. I mean, the amount of people who lost their jobs, especially through the Midwest. I mean, frankly, I'm also very worried about the impacts in the Americas, full stop, because I think a lot of people are missing at the moment too, is that the virus outbreak that we've had in Asia, I think Australasia if we could include Australia, but as we've moved from east to west with this pandemic, Europe is also, as well as Asia, are not armed. The citizens are not armed. And I'm very worried about what kind of implications that's going to have. As people go have unemployment, get locked down in houses, someone turns up music next door too loud, and I think this is going to last for quite a while, right? And that's going to have significant impacts. And if people can't get back to work, I mean, the mental health issues we're going to have as well. So once you dig into the employment issue, there's a whole lot more that goes in there that is going to mean that governments in the West are going to have to drive these infrastructure projects. I mean, the social implications are astronomical not to do it. So, there's not enough discussion, I think, about the personal impacts of this because people are very much dealing with the here and now, being locked in their houses. But longer term, there is a lot of social impact that we're going to have to deal with, and employment, finding employment to keep people gainfully employed, to keep money in their pockets so they can spend again, to resurrect employment within their local communities, is going to be a massive issue, and there's room for months of seminars on that conversation.
That have happened in India because of railway shutdown, because of steel plant shutdowns, because of the lockdown in the country, no movements happening, and the ports are also shut down. So therefore, by the time everything comes back to normalcy after the middle of April, it will be, in my opinion, at least 1 month to sort of get into the good gear. And therefore, the early part of this financial year, April onwards, we will have within India also shortages and surpluses at different places. So that's one problem. On exports of iron ore from India, people are wanting to export, but my recent take is that nobody would export iron ore if it is at such a low price, because it just doesn't work out economical for them. They would look at $90 to $100 prices for CFR levels, and I don't think they'll get those prices at the moment. So therefore, Indian exports into the market at the moment is looking dicey, looking difficult to make. The stocks are built up, so one wonders, really speaking, what is going to happen. Maybe the in-house consumption only has to get into good gear for the steel cycle to sort of rotate well.